Hello, welcome to the queue. Operation Octopussy. It is Japan, turn 9, July 1940. And this is the buy here. Oh, good thing I put that out. I couldn't remember. We have $56 to spend. We are going to place 2 battleships on the build queue. We're going to build a minor factory. We've got 2 militia upgrades, 3 militias, infantry, paratrooper, fighter, medium armor, and a marine. And because we're at war with the U.S., we get to place this light carrier that was in the place units box on the build queue. And this is to remind me to repair the damaged battleship in P50. So let's look at some tech. We are going to roll individually again, like Panzer J. That seemed to work pretty good. The same 3 techs: improved construction, long range, and large ship construction. So, what I was going to say is here's a commercial for HBG. I got these today. They arrived in an order with some stuff I got, and they are Dutch air transports. Not that the Dutch need them, but they're kind of unique and different. And I thought, you know what? That's kind of what I need for the air transports. So my idea was a couple for Japan, maybe a couple for Italy. I didn't know they were coming in orange. They look a lot like, pretty close, to the color that I have. I'll probably paint them or decal them up, but I was using a US DC-3 here as an air transport for Japan. That just doesn't seem right. So I thought that looks a little better. So we're going to trade that unit out. I'll have to look up and see if I can find some Japanese transport planes and how they're painted, and go from there. Put some decals on and make it look good. But it's unique enough that you can tell it's an air transport. Because my U.S. and British air transports are actually the gliders that were used on D-Day. So that's kind of cool that they're different. And this here could be mistaken for a medium bomber, with the 2 engines like that. So anyway, there's my commercial. Let's roll some tech. First dice up is going to be not long range, improved construction. Oh, missed it. Long range aircraft. Oh my gosh, this isn't working. Change dice. Large ship construction. There we go. We got 1. 1 for 3. So we'll move that up to stage 2. We're a stage behind the U.S. on that. That's kind of important. Would have liked to have finished that one off to be the first axis to have a completed one. Looks like Italy might be that on our side. So let's put that away. Let's look at some combats. The Soviets and the CCP are doing their turn now, but they have assured me they are not attacking the KMT or Japan, neither one. So it may look a little different when they get their turn, but I imagine the artillery train is going to keep going for the CCP as I knock everything over here. So with no attacks, we can do our turn. And let's get on with our attacks here. So let's just start all the way over here. We're going to move this sub from I-11, 1, 2, 3 into I-4. There is a coastal sub there. I don't think he'll come out. We're going to bring this tactical 1, 2. If he would like to participate in combat, we can PBE that. And then we'll land here in Italia's Somaliland, that tactical bomber. So we'll do a convoy raid there. That'll be that move. We do have a combat here. We're going to take this destroyer out of port, and it's going to grab this marine in southern India. Come down 1, 2, 3, 4 into Sea Zone A54. Land in Southwest Africa, and that is not where the point, But that seaplane, British seaplane sitting there by itself is an auto kill. So that is it. That keeps our subs from being submerged, and our supply line to this factory is cut off, at least for this turn. So that's the good news. I won't be able to build on that factory. I think the convoy line damage is reset at the beginning of the turn or the end of a round. So I think that Italian one is clear. So we'll raid here. If that's not the case, then we'll just ignore it. We're going to raid here in 54 with that sub. Another raid will be here in P50 with that coastal sub. And 2 more ratings here in P72 and P64. So that's the convoy raids. I do have the boards looks a little different than on the last turn, and that is because these 3 ships had gone through this Narrows to attack Malaya last turn. Well, when you look at that map, I'm thinking that's in P50 is the Narrows, but what I was told is the actual combat for the is on that border. So I thought I could go in and amphibiously assault, and that'd be the end of it. But apparently, when you cross that line, then the coastal gun gets a chance to attack. So they allowed me to leave the transport and the 2 cruisers that were on this side and assault from this direction. The 2 battleships did go through just to aid the in the bombardment and with that other transport that was coming into Malaya. So the same result is that the coastal gun shot on the amphibiously assaulting units, and that's the damage is still there. So we kept the dice roll, but that's how that ended up. So that's why these ships are on this side instead of where they were in P50. All right. So let's do our attacks on all these islands, which technically are British, but I didn't want to make the change because I knew I was attacking them this turn anyway. So all that to be said, the Marine here on the Solomons loads up on this destroyer in P54, comes over 1-2, and lands into New Guinea. That'll be a walk-on. We have a transport in P50, which is on this task force marker. He's going to grab this infantry and this Marine from Sarawak. The infantry was from Malaya. 1, 2. Let's remind me, the Marine's going on to West Timor, and the infantry is going on Celebes. All right, so that is 1 transport. That's 3 walk-on islands. We have combat here in Borneo. We've got an infantry and artillery coming from Sarawak. In P50 is this carrier with a fighter tactical. The tactical will come in. We have mountains on the first round because of the border between Borneo and Sarawak. So that'll affect the first round of combat. So those 3 units will attack that militia. That seaplane will vanish on its own at the end. Let's look at our next attack. We have a transport. Let's take the transport up here. So we're grabbing 1 Marine. So the transport from P15 comes out of port, grabs a Marine from Kishu. 1, 2, 3. And before he does the amphibious assault, he grabs the artillery from Malaya. Those 2 will go into Sumatra. Next transport that's in P50 grabs the artillery from Malaya, up 1, and we're going to grab an infantry off the Kwang Tung task force card, and then back into P50, and we're going to split these up. The artillery is going into the North Philippine Island. Put that down there. and the infantry is going into Sumatra. So those 3 units will be attacking Sumatra with some bombards. Let's put the bombards. We can't use our damaged battleship because I think it's got to sit idle. So he's going to sit idle. So bombarding will be the battleship and the, what is that? The battle cruiser. And since we're not bringing a fighter in there, we'll use that cruiser as well. So that'll be the bombards there. These two have moved. I'll put them on there. All right, we're going to do the curly shuffle with all those ships. Let's do our North Philippines island attack. The fighter that's on the carrier in P50 comes up 1 into the Philippines. And we've got our fresh off the boat air transport, grabs the paratrooper from Honshu. 1, 2, 3, 4, because it comes from an air base that has a movement of 3 left. All right, so we need a Marine. So this destroyer in P32 comes up 1, 2, 3, and the Marine will go into the Philippines from this direction. So we got 3 units and an aircraft attacking the Philippines. All right, so that's that marker, that's that marker, that's that marker, that's that marker, that's that marker. All right, so what do we have left? We are not attacking Java, so Britain will keep Java. So on the board here, I'm just going to move them up 2 because I didn't move them up because they're going to lose all these other islands, I hope. All right, so the rest of these ships are attacking the Dutch Navy here. So the tactical and fighter off this carrier will go on map in C zone P61. All right, this carrier will back up into, I can't read that one. Where's it at? Where's it at? Someone help me. There it is, P60 with that transport. All right, let's take this fighter off. The carrier, he's going on map. Now, he actually, well, I guess he only has a map movement of 1 left because he's going on map, even though he's in the same sea zone. This light carrier is getting out of Dodge. 1, 2 into sea zone I-10. All right. The other 2 here is this seaplane. 1, 2 into P59. So those 2 items will be attacking the coastal sub and transport. All right, get these markers out. There is a destroyer in P59 that is moving south to eliminate the first strikes from that submarine. We have a torpedo boat destroyer from, what is this, P50. Let's see, 1, 2, well, you know what? Oh, but it has at a naval base, so 1, 2, 3. It'll come around into P61. The torpedo boat destroyer and I-12 come down 1, 2. All right, so the light cruiser will come around 1, 2, 3. Oh, knocking stuff off my card here. All right, so I've got 1 heavy cruiser in I-12, which will come down 1, 2. And I think that's it. This destroyer and this carrier have not moved yet. The battleship will, I'll put it on that card because it's not moving for sure, so it can get repaired. All right, so that leaves these 2 haven't moved. These 4 haven't moved. I think we're done, though, on our attacks. Yes, non-combat up north. No combat in India. The Gurkhas are up in the mountains of Kashmir. All right, so that is it. Let's start. Let's start with the convoy rating. So we'll start over here where I have the option Or should I start here? That way it forces the damage. I guess it really doesn't matter. We'll start here in I4. So that red dice is Japan. We get a +2, so that is 1 damage. So that is 1 damage. I don't think FVC actually has any money. You know what? That's true. I guess it could go on FVC. I wonder if I choose that, or I think I choose that. So I'll choose the FVC line there at that junction. So FVC will lose $1. I think they had $2 in their bank. So we'll roll down there for that convoy line. And that's 4 to 4. So that'll be 2. We have a +2, right? They do not. Yeah, Britain does not have radar. So that will be 2 on this convoy line. That's Italian. We have a coastal sub here in P50, which will raid and misses. We got a regular sub in P64, and that's 2 on that. So this last sub does not get to participate again, as all the coastal, or all the lines are maxed out here on their damage, except for that one. I'm going to have to send a second sub there next turn. So that is the convoy rating. Which battle do we want to do first? I guess we'll start off with the naval battles. We'll start off with this one. I've got a seaplane and a fighter. So the seaplane will be at 3. Okay, and the fighter's a 6. So we would have got 2 hits. So that coastal sub is gone, and the transport is an auto kill. So that is out of there. So the next sea battle, we're going to roll our ships that can't hit the sub first. So that is the 2 torpedo boat destroyers and the light and heavy cruiser. All right, so the 2 torpedo boat destroyers at 2. There's a hit. That being said, I don't know that these 2 ships can hit that sub. I don't think they can. So I think it's just these 3 planes and the destroyer. Since the coastal or torpedo boat destroyers hit. I'll roll them anyway, so the 5 and the 6. So we got a hit there. So here's the, we'll start with the destroyer at a 4. Oh, it hits. So the sub is gone. Fighter. Tactical. Okay, so we got plenty of hits. I think we had 4 total. They do get the fire back, though. They did not get the fire back in P59 because the subs can't hit aircraft. So that's why I didn't bring any ships into that battle. All right, so the destroyer fires back at a 4. Misses, and the sub at a 3. 11. All right, so no damage so far. That's nice. All right, so 3 battles left. Sumatra, Borneo, Philippines. Let's do the Philippines here. The artillery will not be on the first round. So the first round is, and I think that's mountainous. Yeah, so the Marine at 1, airborne at 2, fighter at 6. So the Marine, oh man, airborne's at 2, fighter is at 6, and that's a hit. All right, so firing back is the militia at 2. That's a miss. All right. So that is gone. Put this in the casualty pile. Next down is Borneo, where the artillery does get to fire because it's just a walk across the mountains. So because it's mountains, it fires at a 2. First strike. So that is it for the militia. Seaplane is an auto kill. So that is good. All right, so the next is bombard with a battleship, battle cruiser, and heavy cruiser. So here is the battleship at 4, the battle cruiser at a 3, heavy cruiser at a 2. All right, so In the battle itself, the artillery is not in the first round, so we have two, Marine and infantry at 2 apiece. Nothing. All right, defending is a militia at 2. Oh, lost a Marine. All right, so here's the battle we may not win, huh? All right, so round 2, the bombards are gone, and it's just the infantry, artillery, both at 3. There's the hit, so we do win Sumatra. The militia fires for a second round and does nothing. All right, so we lost a Marine, but we managed to take Sumatra. I'm looking around, I think that was it. So I'm going to move this back onto this task force marker, the 3 ships that bombarded. All right. All right, so this destroyer was just in case we didn't get that sub. We were going to come protect these units, but since we didn't need it, we're not going to do it. So let's count. Oh, you know what? Let's land the planes. The fighter and TAC and P61 are on maps, so they have a movement of 1, so they'll go up to P60 where that carrier is. This fighter has a movement of 1 being on map. It has to land on the carrier in I-13. The other plane, fighter has a movement of 3. The tactical has a movement of 2, so he'll go 1, 2, and back on the carrier. All right, so that's all these markers are out of here. Let's move them out. So this fighter that was on the Philippines has a movement of 3 left. 1, 2, 3 onto the carrier in I-12. So we will send this destroyer that was in P50 that did not move 1, 2 into I-10. And these have moved, so I'll put them on the card. That's moved. All right, so the last one to land plane is this air transport. He'll come out 1, 2, 3 and land in Formosa. All right, so planes, seaplane has to land. It'll go back 1, 2 to some Siam. Yep. All right, so that is it. We've landed all our planes. Our markers are out of here. These ships are in this P61. All right, so let's count up some cash. And that's why I didn't give Britain all these, so I'd have to subtract them. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the Dutch, which technically would have been Britain if I'd have moved them up, but I didn't. So that goes up to 53. And then the Philippines is 1 from the U.S. So the U.S. will go back to 63 and we'll go up to 54. All right, so it's weird there's an Italian roundel here, but that's what happens when you attack Portugal. All right, so what do we have left to do? Just the regular non-com moves. All right, so that's done. All right. So let's move this transport and heavy cruiser out of I-12. And we're going to go in port here in Maharashtra in the I-7 sea zone. All right. The transport and heavy cruiser in I-11 will be doing the same thing. We're going to grab this infantry. 1, 2. We'll go in port, drop off the infantry in Maharashtra. All right. There is the heavy cruiser. All right. So I think, yeah, that's what we're doing. All right. So the tank, medium armor in Calcutta will drive 1, 2 into Maharashtra. The Marine will go into southern India from Delhi, and the infantry from Benares will come down into southern India as well. That is it for there. Everything's moved down south. Get rid of that mountain marker. All right, so these two ships have not moved. I think we'll just go in port here. The light cruiser and destroyer from P-32 will come up 1. Go in port here in Kyushu in P-15. We do have a rail movement. This infantry in Korea will rail all the way down to Kwangtung. And I'm probably going to chip that out at the end of my turn and get rid of this card because I believe we're done pulling units from that location. So they can all stack in there instead of out in the ocean. All right, so what other movements do we have here? We've got an infantry in Rihe, which is going to step up 1 to Biping. A motorized will drive back to Biping from Shangtung along with a cavalry. Into Nanking will be 2 artillery, 2 infantry, and 1 cavalry. All right. That all stepped over from Shangtung. I think that's it. This torpedo boat destroyer, you know, I'll leave them there. If they want to come over and kill it, that would be great. All right, so I think, yep, that's it. We're done. So let's do placements here. So these 2 battleships. Oh, it's getting awful fat here in stage 3. Lot of meat. Join the U.S. carriers. All right, so the factory will go here into southern India. And let's do our infantry upgrade and militia. So I'll put the chip there because that is going to go in Maharashtra. So we'll upgrade that militia and then we'll place a militia. So that's the net effect. And the same thing here will be in Kwangtung. So we won't get rid of that militia. That leaves 1 militia to place, and that goes into Nanking. And now I've got in Calcutta is a medium armor, in Siam is a marine, which is going to be helpful because I just lost a marine. So, and last but not least is an infantry in Rihe, paratrooper in Kyushu, fighter in Honshu, light carrier that we get will go in port here in Kyushu with those destroyer and light cruiser. Honshu, Rihe is the infantry, and the airborne infantry is in Kyushu. All right. And that guy, I guess it's basically those 2 sets of islands, and then that one's by itself. All right, so damage marker. This battleship in P-50 is now repaired. Thank you, dockyards. Let's look at some cash. So the cash here changed. We spent all of it. We are at 54. So I grabbed the 25 from the other table. So that's 50. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to need to break out these chips, I think, here. There's 6 bonus for China. So let's trade that 5 out for 5 ones. All right, so from Britain, nothing changes. We get our 3 bonus. Dutch, we get 2. And the U.S., we get 2. All right, so now it's time for some math. So what is that? 54, 60, 63, 65, 67. So $67 for Japan next turn. And let's do a recap. All right, so militias. Marshals, Caroline, Bonin, Volcano, Curly, Ottawa, Eastern Northern Manchuria. All right, in Honshu is an infantry fighter. In Tokyo is a militia infantry. Sea-Zone P-16 to torpedo boat destroyer Kyushu, and airborne, and in port is a destroyer, light cruiser, light carrier. Rihe infantry, Suyan infantry, mountain infantry, Beipeng infantry, artillery, motorized, cavalry, Hunan militia, Sangtung militia, Hunan. Oh, wait a minute. What is this one? This one's Hope. But Hunan has a militia as well. Nanking militia, 2 infantry, 2 artillery, 1 cavalry. Kwangtung now is 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 infantry, 2 militia, and an artillery. Formosa air transport plane. P-41 is a destroyer. The North Philippine Islands is a Marine, airborne, and a artillery. Siam is a Marine, militia, seaplane. Sumatra infantry, artillery. Borneo infantry, artillery. Celebes infantry. Timor, a Marine. New Guinea, a Marine. Let's look at ships. P-72, P-64 sub, P-69 coastal sub, P-61, 2 torpedo boat destroyers, destroyer, light cruiser, heavy cruiser, P-62 destroyer, P-60 transport, fleet carrier, fighter tactical. P-50 is a coastal sub, 2 transports, heavy cruiser, battle cruiser, 2 battleships, fleet carrier, fighter attack. Sea-Zone I-10 is a destroyer, light carrier, fighter. In port in Maharashtra, in I-7 is 2 transports, 2 heavy cruisers. Southern India is a new factory, a Marine and infantry. Calcutta, medium armor, militia. In Maharashtra, militia, 2 infantry, medium armor. I-4 is a sub. A-54 is a sub and a destroyer. South Africa is a Marine. I think that's it. I think we're done. The convoying was 2 from Anzac, 1 from FEC, and 2 from Britain. That matches the 5 up there that the Germans took. Germans also took 2 from the U.S. So a good day. I guess this is gone now. Good day, even though they lost 4 from the Italians on the last turn. I think it resets now at the end of the round. All right, that's it. Up next is the Commonwealth and France.